Hi, I'm Untitled Aussie and welcome to the channel. Anyone who sort of knows me or has been watching the channel for a bit knows that I'm all about preparing and canning and trying to save money and all that sort of thing, and trying to find a homestead that I can afford, which is now completely out of the window. No matter how much I save, work my butt off and risk my life on a daily basis going to work, I don't think everything's going to happen because of all the craziness with the real estate prices and things like that. But whatever happens there happens, and that's not my concern and what I'm talking to you all about today. At the moment, we've got all sorts of things happening in the world. We all know that, and that's been going on for several years now, but it's getting worse. And what I'm wanting to talk to you all about is basically getting a few supplies together so that no matter what happens, you can rely on yourself. If the worst happens, with the earthquake that's going on over in Tonga, they can't even get real water or clean drinking water because of what's happened. Don't try not to let yourself get to that situation. What I'm talking about is you should at least make sure that you can support yourself for a minimum of 3 days, have 3 days worth of food in your house at all times. It doesn't really matter what the food is or how you put it away or what you've got. Just set it all out so that for however many people in your house, you've got that amount of food to go 3 days, in case of emergency, in case everything happens, a disaster, God knows what, floods, fire, whatever. We all know that that kind of thing can happen and with no warning. We've seen it time and time again. Here I live in a bushfire zone. I also live in a flood zone and an earthquake zone, which we've had all of those in the last 2 years. And the earthquake, the last one, I think it was a 5 on the Richter scale, so she was getting up there. But that actually just tells me that the actual planet itself, don't get me wrong, I'm not an out there greenie, I'm not any of that. Please don't tell me I just got my face in here again, but I'm not a greenie, I'm not onto any of that sort of stuff. But we're really pushing this planet to its limit, whether it's a natural thing that's going on or we're helping along the way. None of that really matters. The problem is things are going haywire. I think a lot of that's got to do with the way that we all live and the way that we are just a throwaway society. There's so many things that I see, and I just cannot get over people's attitude towards everything. Life is a gift, not a granted. I see that every day. I see people die. I've seen people die in front of me. I've heard them take their last breath. And it makes you think and it makes you reevaluate everything in your life. No, I'm not a nurse. I'm not a doctor, but I work in that field and I see things, and it really does make you question what life is all about. Now, that I'm a prepper. We all know that. Anyone who's watching me knows that. I don't go overboard. I've done it little bit by little bit over several years. Everything I do is trying to get me towards the lifestyle that I want, which is basically very similar to a hermit lifestyle, pioneer lifestyle, whatever you want to call it, back in the old days where they didn't have everything that we have today to the excess that people use it. Now, I went to the supermarket just the other day. You won't really be able to see this in a great deal. But again, that's the meat department. I live in a fairly massive regional city. That's the meat department. This is around 7 o'clock at night. Sorry, it's not the best. There's the other side of the meat department, and there's 4 of those aisles. And again, there's more. And there's coffee. That went up $6.50 overnight. Literally $6.50. It was $13 for that coffee. This is what I'm talking about. Do you really want to be a panic buyer? Do you want to be an ordinary person going down the street to try and just get a few things every couple of days or every week like most people do, and face that? I happened to be walking around with a trolley, and a student doctor that I recognised was walking around, and she was still in her scrubs, and she said to me, "There really is nothing here, is there?" And I said, "No, to be honest, the only thing that really was there was the fake plastic meat that everyone's wanting us to eat and pushing us all towards." The entire situation, what's going on, I'm at the point where everything's pushing everything to a direction. What that direction is, I'm going to keep my opinions on that one to myself at this point. I mean, I know a few things what are going on, but that's beside the point. What I'm here trying to talk to you about today is, don't be in the situation like what you see on my phone there. I'm not. And why? Because I've worked damn hard over the years just to look at what I need to keep me and my kids going if the worst happened. I can also help my neighbours out. And, well, the only family I sort of have around here is one person, and they're quite a ways away. And so basically it's just me and the kids and, my neighbours, because I'm pretty friendly with my neighbours. We're all sort of, they're hinting that they do what I do, but they don't actually say. Some of them know what I do. But all things aside, I just think that we all should have a minimum of 3 days supply of food and everything that we need in our own house, so that if disaster does happen, we can't get out, something really, really goes wrong, we have it here. And especially water. Like, water doesn't have to be from the tap. Like, I started putting water away purely, I don't have tanks here or anything like that, but purely because in the wintertime I have to turn my water off quite often, because I have a solar hot water and it blows out the roof, so I have no access to water because it has to be turned off at the mains. And I can go 3 or 4 days without seeing a plumber by the time someone gets organised, even if it is an emergency. So that's why I started doing it. I've got a little emergency shower and things like that. I also have water put away. Go to Woolies, for goodness sake, people. If you can, get down there and get a few of the 10-litre containers. Just put them aside. They're not going to go off. It's water, for goodness sake. Yeah, every time your kids have a bottle of soft drink, if you give them that, or you get soda water or whatever, just fill those bottles up, rinse them out, fill them up, write a date on it. You don't have to go to all those things and put bleach and goodness knows what else in there. I've got water that's nearly 3 years old and it's still perfectly drinkable, which we found out the other day because, again, our water system failed, not through the frost on the roof, but other reasons. We had no water for nearly 24 hours. So it's a situation that I've learnt to deal with here. So we've always got that. So all the preps in the world are useless if you haven't got some water with you. You need to sort of don't be running to Woolies to get things at the last minute. All I can say to you, excuse me, with all the stuff that's going on, please, if you have kids that are relying on you, get yourself a bit organised. Don't go flying down to the supermarket and find empty shelves and there's nothing there. The situation is going to get worse before it gets better. We all know that, and times are going to get extremely hard. But at the end of the day, I think what we're doing as humans to everything is wrong. And my little motto in this life is, if you want to go forward, you need to go back. We've got to get rid of all the trappings of the life that most people aspire to lead, but at the end of the day, none of that really means anything. And if this pandemic hasn't taught people what's important, I don't know what will. All I want is a nice, simple little life, being able to do as much as we can for ourselves. I'm not, I'd love to live off grid and love to live in a place where, I didn't have to work because, yay, I owned the land I was on, and the tiny little, not tiny house as in such a tiny house, but the house that I had was, paid for, and I didn't have to do any work. But sadly, that's now not going to happen because of everything that's going on, and prices have almost doubled. So when I thought I was almost there, I'm now back at square one. The world is just turning into a very, very hostile place one way or the other. We can't do this, we can't do that. And the answer is to go back to that simple life, is to provide for yourself as much as you possibly can, and like our grandparents used to do. But unfortunately, the system doesn't want us to do that, because then the system wouldn't need to be in place, would it? Have a little think about that one. Anyway, I'm on to it, Aussie. Thanks for watching. If you like the content of the channel, give it a thumbs up. If not, say what you're not happy about. I'm quite happy to deal with a bit of constructive criticism as well. But if you do like it, give it the thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks a lot, and take care.